Please like the video and share it so that it reaches many more people and you get sawaba, or rewards from Allah. This could be a sawabe jariyah or continuous reward for you long after you are gone.
Patience, Volume 7, Book 70, number 544581. Volume 7, Book 70, number 544. Narrated by Aisha, the wife of the Prophet, Allah's apostle said, "No calamity befalls a Muslim but that Allah expiates some of his sins because of it, even though it were the prick he receives from a thorn." Volume 7, Book 70, number 545. Narrated by Abu Sa'id al-Khudri and Abu Hurairah, the Prophet said, "No fatigue, nor disease, nor sorrow, nor sadness, nor hurt, nor distress befalls a Muslim, even if it were the prick he receives from a thorn, but that Allah expiates some of his sins for that." Volume 7, Book 70, number 546. Narrated by Ka'b, the Prophet said, "The example of a believer is that of a fresh tender plant, which the wind bends lieutenant sometimes and some other time it makes it straight. And the example of a hypocrite is that of a pine tree which keeps straight till once it is uprooted suddenly." Volume 7, Book 70, number 547. Narrated by Abu Hurairah, Allah's apostle said, "The example of a believer is that of a fresh tender plant. From whatever direction the wind comes, it bends it, but when the wind becomes quiet, it becomes straight again." Similarly, a believer is afflicted with calamities, but he remains patient till Allah removes his difficulties. And an impious wicked person is like a pine tree which keeps hard and straight till Allah cuts, breaks, it down when he wishes. See Hadith number 558, Volume 9. Volume 7, Book 70, number 548. Narrated by Abu Hurairah, Allah's apostle said, "If Allah wants to do good to somebody, he afflicts him with trials." Volume 7, Book 70, number 549. Narrated by Aisha, "I never saw anybody suffering so much from sickness as Allah's apostle." Volume 7, Book 70, number 550. Narrated by Abdullah, "I visited the Prophet during his ailments and he was suffering from a high fever. I said, 'You have a high fever. Is it because you will have a double reward for it?' He said, 'Yes, for no Muslim is afflicted with any harm, but that Allah will remove his sins as the leaves of a tree fall down.'" Volume 7, Book 70, number 551. Narrated by Abdullah, "I visited Allah's apostle while he was suffering from a high fever. I said, 'O Allah's apostle, you have a high fever.' He said, 'Yes, I have as much fever as 2 men of you.' I said, 'Is it because you will have a double reward?' He said, 'Yes, it is so. No Muslim is afflicted with any harm, even if it were the prick of a thorn, but that Allah expiates his sins because of that, as a tree sheds its leaves." Volume 7, Book 70, number 552. Narrated by Abu Mu'iza al-Ash'ari, the Prophet said, "Feed the hungry, visit the sick, and set free the captives." Volume 7, Book 70, number 553. Narrated by Al-Bara bin Azib, Allah's apostle ordered us to do 7 things and forbade us to do 7 other things. He forbade us to wear gold rings, silk, dibai, istabrik, kissi, and mithara, and ordered us to accompany funeral processions, visit the sick and greet everybody. See Hadith number 104. Volume 7, Book 70, number 554. Narrated by Jabir bin Abdullah. Once I fell ill. The Prophet and Abu Bakr came walking to pay me a visit and found me unconscious. The Prophet performed ablution and then poured the remaining water on me, and I came to my senses to see the Prophet. I said, O Allah's Apostle, what shall I do with my property? How shall I distribute my property? He did not reply till the verse of inheritance was revealed. Volume 7, Book 70, number 555. Narrated by Ata bin Abi Rabah ibn Abbas said to me, Shall I show you a woman of the people of paradise? I said, Yes. He said, This black lady came to the Prophet and said, I get attacks of epilepsy and my body becomes uncovered. Please invoke Allah for me. The Prophet said to her, If you wish, be patient and you will enter paradise. And if you wish, I will invoke Allah to cure you. She said, I will remain patient, and added, But I become uncovered, so please invoke Allah for me that I may not become uncovered. So he invoked Allah for her. Volume 7, Book 70, number 556. Narrated by Ata that he had seen Zafar, the tall black lady, holding the curtain of the Kaaba. Volume 7, Book 70, number 557. Narrated by Anas bin Malik. I heard Allah's Apostle saying, Allah said, If I deprive my slave of his two beloved things, i.e., his eyes, and he remains patient, I will let him enter paradise in compensation for them. Volume 7, Book 70, number 558. Narrated by Aisha. When Allah's Apostle emigrated to Medina, Abu Bakr and Bilal got a fever. I entered upon them and asked, O my father, how are you? O Bilal, how are you? Whenever fever attacked Abu Bakr, he would recite the following poetic verses. Everybody is staying alive among his people, yet death is nearer to him than his shoelaces. And whenever the fever deserted Bilal, he would recite two poetic lines. Would that I could stay overnight in a valley wherein I would be surrounded by Idkir and Jalil, two kinds of good-smelling grass. Would that one day I would drink of the water of Medina, and would that Sharma and Tafel, two mountains at Mecca, would appear to me. Then I came and informed Allah's Apostle about that, whereupon he said, O Allah, make us love Medina as much or more than we love Mecca. O Allah, make it healthy and bless its mud and sa for us, and take away its fever and put it in Alijava. Volume 7, Book 70, number 559. Narrated by Abu Uthman. Osama bin Zaid said that while he, Sa'd and Ubay bin Kabi were with the Prophet, a daughter of the Prophet sent a message to him, saying, My daughter is dying. Please come to us. The Prophet sent her his greetings and added, It is for Allah what he takes, and what he gives, and everything before his sight has a limited period. So she should hope for Allah's reward and remain patient. She again sent a message, beseeching him by Allah, to come. So the Prophet got up. And so did we, and went there. The child was placed on his lap while his breath was irregular. Tears flowed from the eyes of the Prophet. Sa'd said to him, What is this, O Allah's Apostle? He said, This is mercy which Allah has embedded in the hearts of whomever he wished of his slaves. And Allah does not bestow his mercy, except on the merciful among his slaves. See Hadith number 373 Volume 2. Volume 7, Book 70, number 560. Narrated by Ibn Abbas. The Prophet went to visit a sick Bedouin. Whenever the Prophet went to a patient, he used to say to him, "Don't worry, if Allah will, it will be expiation for your sins." The Bedouin said, "You say expiation? No, it is but a fever that is boiling or harassing an old man and will lead him to his grave without his will." The Prophet said, "Then, yes, it is so." Volume 7, Book 70, number 561. Narrated by Anas. A Jewish boy used to serve the Prophet and became ill. The Prophet went to pay him a visit and said to him, "Embrace Islam," and he did embrace Islam. Al-Musayyab said, when Abu Talib was on his deathbed, the Prophet visited him.